Guys are getting squeezed hard to sway them towards new management.
After the screen suddenly goes black, it's the P&L that speaks. Say it's one of those artsy fades to black that makes it easier to sleep with oneself at night, but the fact case is, at the end of this series, the Jersey operation is bleeding management, bereft of manpower, and looking over an estuary at a larger, better funded, wholly predatory competitor that has already gone public with their campaign of aggressive cannibalism.
3 pops, within a tight time frame, 24 hours, so there's no chance for them to hit back.
Take out the leadership and do business with the rest. Not if the DeMeo family ultimately sells out as in going interest, but when it will be reduced to a turnkey operation. Firstly, the roster when the curtain falls.
Bobby's dead.
Confirmed dead or presumably protesting their innocence, Bobby, Chris, and if you're inclined to take the cue, Tony.
Called the hospital. They wouldn't give no info on Sil.
In a battle for his life, Sil. Turning state's evidence, Carlo.
At a meeting down here with Carlo this morning.
After his son's arrest, his debrief, not unreasonably, is said to be undermining the foundation. Still under debate, Patsy, with speculation by some that he's about to be pinched, which means he's a likely rat, but the current indictment belongs to Carlo Jr., not Patsy. Taking it easy, Benny, who fills the Schrodinger's wise guy role of either being horse-fucked into irrelevance or the single youth inside, harbinger of a fresh start that never comes to pass.
Top 3 guys.
Paulie got the area?
No, management.
Serving, smart, and self-preservationist to the last, Paulie Walnuts.
Are you Lawrence Barisi?
Someplace nearby, the Berets bunch, often called the largest in numbers remaining, which is always a bit of a stretch and a bit of mystique. Walden Belfiore, the man who mowed down Phil, stands as a viable, New York preferred successor. The rest are seat fillers, silent video backups who are never going to make capo in a million years. Regarding the bench, some say no youth, others note all the peripheral guys, Benny, Muscles Marinara, the hulking nurse, the guy who cleaned out the Colombians with Paulie, Tony Saragusa, and a parade of nameless, buttonless earners.
Especially now that Carlo's absent.
I know.
It's not the number of faces, it's the complete absence of a proven manager from among them. The episode's small thesis? This was never a farm system. It was a farm stand. You can stack the melons. That doesn't make you the grocer. The most likely end result is the one New York has announced. Cut the head, and then talk to whoever's left on the phone. The Jersey operation becomes a high-profile crew with office space. Local capos on a job managed from Manhattan.
So, Patsy went over to Chrissy's mom's house.
Yeah, that's where Carmela is.
Patsy is the front-runner for this role. Seniority, legitimacy, and a marriage tie to the Soprano name. He comes across as either pliable or practical, which is near enough for Butchie.
I want you to skip it, that thing.
Paulie takes anything quasi-clean, bullet-free, and lucrative. Walden gets a promotion.
Hey, Tom? Ben, come on in.
Benny, assuming his spine still works, becomes key muscle with the promise of future advancement. Envelopes continue, they just have to float higher over the river this time. Whether it's a Little Carmine or Butchie joint hardly alters the math. Little Carmine votes money plus peace. Butchie has already staked himself on the money, not the grudge. Respect, the power actively cited as currency, follows money. Other fascinating legends revolve around New York's distinction as the heaviest Don's been since Johnny Sack's prime. It's remarked, not quite under the breath, that Tony dipped into Johnny's old personal stash to make the visits. This survivalist lesson has been done over 100 times by now, but that's how fear gets a bad name. Then there's Carlo and his gunning for boss talk, and the little folk not believing New York will buy the good soldier act for Sal and Rusty in the afterword. Let Sal get cute with his movie lines. Let Rusty flay a couple of caps non-competitively. There's been enough latitude.
Yeah, me and Ralph got lucky on a new real estate investment.
But the fanciful notion most in keeping with the way these things go is that Tony's luck finally breaks bad, and it was damn near supernaturally good while it lasted. From that second on the causeway to the abrupt fade to orange in the diner, Tonnage clumps that can never be argued away on the other side of the credits.
Good luck now?
The big luck theory seems to be the strongest. J, imminent horospecs, opines that in every face there's a 50-50 life or death mask, unless we're holding a mirror. And Tony's played the odds further than they go. Of course, if he makes it to the encore, hundreds of your friends and neighbors die in their cars. If you consider the bigger picture, it becomes clear. The TV series not only tells the story of a man's death, but also the end of a business model.
You're looking at a mandatory 35 to life in prison.
Mandatory minimums force soldiers to become witnesses.
12 RICO predicates.
RICO turns meetings into evidence. Corporate chain stores mock extortion attempts.
HMO, huh? You're covered.
And the night shift clerk isn't afraid of a wise guy. He's afraid of losing his health insurance. Fiber optic cable, high-speed internet, all of it creates a fortune, but one that can't be earned with traditional means. The De Cavalcante family can still be heard if you listen closely. Breathing is not the same as thriving. The Esplanade scam was a reminder of how profitable grifting can be, not a guarantee of immortality. Paramilitary organizations outlive bosses, not downturns in demand. And then there's denial. For some, Tony never dies. The screen just fades to black. Others send him off to Belarus with Svetlana, while Silvanos retires to Norway. Furio returns to claim Carmela. Junior's dementia was a ruse. The charges are dropped. He wrests back control by grooming Bobby Jr. over baseball and paramilitary training. A J rises. Meadow becomes Michael. Svetlana becomes the boss. Feach does his violation and comes storming back with the blessings of New York. An array of Looney Tunes epilogues play themselves out at the Bada Bing, under the fist of an embittered new capo. These are dreams in the Freudian sense, reminders that the series belongs not just to its creators and characters, but to its audience, which has ever hungered for breadcrumbs, while its host lost blood on the piney floor. Some prefer everyone frozen forever in the snow, atop a hill by a river, pine cones all around. Fair enough. That's poetry, not the Antici Cancelli. For posterity, a couple of unfinalized ledgers. What happened to Raymond's old crew after he passed? Junior's crew after Bobby stepped into administration and the grave.
Okay, we know what we're gonna do.
Till the government indicts, anyway.
Jimmy.
Larry Baris sample-fed the feds in Remember When to avert suspicion. A sanctioned maneuver, yes? Would Tony, by the way, replacing a consigliere? A de facto underboss, Bobby, and two captains, Christopher and Carlo, while also blotting out a rat, Foundress intimidatingly even before the annexation crew steamrolled their front lawn?
Well, it's not like it was.
Cloning.
Mexicans are huge in that.
The least sentimental coda would play like the concluding montage of The Wire. The names change, the game remains the same. New York assimilates North Jersey. Patsy's put in as local boss. Paulie finally obtains his liquid gold survival. Walden and Benny run the street. The Baris crew stands by.
It's the jacket!
The DeMeo name is wiped out. Independence, it turns out, was a fucking ardor. The check comes. Everybody asks for the check. Nothing's eaten at you?
I was just going to pack its bags voluntarily.
The money gets smaller. Till one day, it finally disappears. Burlington Industries is gone. Remember When is the lowest form of conversation, which is probably why the final verdict hits with such certitude. The little guy, the guy given up for whacked early on, he's the guy who's going to win. The Sopranos ended, but the family just got a new rainmaker. Subscribe.